Hey everybody, and welcome to the Sarcophagus V2 demo. Today we'll be going over the embalming workflow on the Sarcophagus web app. We will save the archaeologist demo for another video. Um, to start with, we're going to go over the embalming process and what that looks like. So this is all taking place on Goerli testnet, and I'm going to assume that you know something about the sarcophagus system. I'm not going to really explain the why behind things. I may explain the what on a few of the steps. So let's get started. So on step one, this may look familiar. These fields were in sarcophagus V1. You'll just name your sarcophagus. So we can name it demo video test. And down here, we can set our resurrection date. These dates will probably change, just placeholders for now. We go to step two, we can upload our payload. And then step three, we can come over here to Bundler. Bundler is a L2 for Arweave. They provide a great service for being able to upload to Arweave with a multitude of different currencies, such as ETH, Matic, etc. And you don't have to hold Arweave tokens to do it. It also batches transactions together to make transactions much cheaper, and you also get access to the data via the Arweave gateway much more quickly prior to it even making its way to L1. So far, this has worked really well for our purposes. This service could easily be swapped out for another service that uploads to Arweave. All that matters is that we can have a transaction ID to use when we create the sarcophagus. But for now, it's working great. So when you're using the system, you would connect to Bundler, and you need to add funds to your Bundler account. You can add multiple. You can add as much balance as you want, so that you can create many sarcophagi without needing to do this every single time. So you can see down here, I already have balance. I could keep going without having to do anything. But if you don't, you want to add funds to your bundler balance here. It takes a few minutes before the funds hit your account. On mainnet, it's around 2 minutes. On Goerli, it's a little bit more. So we'll go next. And then we are going to set a recipient key. In version 1, we had a way to just paste in your recipient's public key. That still exists. You can do that here. Another thing you can do is, if you have the address of your recipient, you can actually, oh, that's not it. Let's see what good recipient address would be. Let's try this one. You can paste that in there and then look up to see if we can generate the public key. So you can see we had a problem trying to generate the public key. I have a feeling that's because of a rate limit with Etherscan right now. Let's try it one more time. Okay, there we go. We'll need to get a key in there or change out from Etherscan. And so it was able to generate the public key for the recipient here. And it can do that if the recipient has made a transaction. They've signed a message on chain, so we can get that signature and derive the public key from it. If they didn't have a transaction, then we would not be able to do this, and the system would notify you that you'd have to use a different method. So we could do that, and another way we could do this is we could actually generate a new key pair. This should say generate new key pair, not public key. It's going to generate both a public key and a private key, and clicking it will do that. And now you can download those keys and send the keys over to the recipient. The recipient will need the private key in order to do the resurrection. The system here does not let you finish creating your sarcophagus until you've downloaded that file. We do force that to make sure that you didn't miss it. But at this point, we have a recipient key. There's one more piece of the recipient workflow that is not here, which was in V1, which is if you have the recipient's private key, you can also generate their public key. That will get built in here shortly. So let's go to the next step. Here you can kind of see the linchpin of V2, which is the multi-archaeologist setup. In V1, it was a single archaeologist. Now there's a much more robust system for splitting up the outer layer private key amongst these archaeologists. So you can select as many of these as you want. I'm going to select 2 for our demo here. And right now there's only 3 online. Hopefully eventually there's a lot more running here, and you can select as many as you want. The fees go up as you select them, because you will be paying digging fees to each of the archaeologists you select on rewraps and unwrapping. the security profile will increase as you select more archaeologists, and also on the next screen select the required archaeologists. This screen itself is going to evolve a lot, and we have full UX designs with a really nice layout that shows a lot more information, such as archaeologists, reputation statistics, filters, ways to see potentially hidden archaeologists because they, for various reasons, don't fit your filter. Maybe their max resurrection time is too short. So let's go ahead and go to the next screen. So in the next screen, we're going to actually select how many of these archaeologists are required to participate in the unwrapping ceremony. So we can do up to 2 since we've selected 2. So if you select 2, both these archaeologists needs to show up to unwrap, and they would both upload their secrets, and then the resurrection can occur. If we set this to 1, then only one of the 2 have to show up. So you can see as this number goes up, pretend this was 10, and then we could set this to up to 10, but we could select 2 or 3, and there will be a lot of copy here to kind of explain some of those trade-offs and what that means, to make the embalmer aware of what they should be thinking about. There will also be a lot of copy on these other screens that isn't there right now. That a lot of that's yet to be written, and as we test and see what people respond to and how they think, that copy will be developed. So let's go ahead and go to the next screen. On this screen, we see our sarcophagus summary. This is showing you just like a high-level overview of stuff we've already filled out, so you can review it and edit it if you want to. You can always jump back. Down here, you'll see fees. So we have the 8 digging fees and 5 Sarco fees. So that's 13 Sarco plus a 1% protocol fee. Shows you how much it costs to upload your payload in ETH, because that has not happened yet. We just have our bundler account. We haven't actually done any uploading yet. And once we click Create Sarcophagus, we sort of lock ourselves in to a degree. There might be some going back if certain steps in this Create Sarcophagus go awry, but for the most part, there's some stuff happening between the embalmer archaeologists, and it kind of is like, it kicks off a chain of events. So let's just go ahead and do that. And this is the fun part. So you can see we've connected the archaeologist. That happens pretty quickly. And these are the libp2p archaeologist nodes that we're communicating with. And now we are going to actually be uploading some archaeologist data to Arweave. These are encrypted shards that the archaeologists will be decrypting at the time of unwrapping to upload to the contracts. Let's go ahead and sign here. So that's going to be uploading that Arweave transaction. At this point, it's going to be communicating with those archaeologists to make sure that they can indeed get that data that was just uploaded, so they can confirm that they will be able to complete their unwrappings. They're sending some signatures back to us. At this point, we've sequenced upload file data last because it's probably going to be the most expensive part of this outside of creating Sarcophagus. So we want to make sure if anything goes wrong that the embalmer hasn't lost out on any money from uploading their file data. So now let's do that. And once that is complete, at this point, we will actually sign a transaction to create that sarcophagus. So we're taking those archaeologist signatures along with a bunch of other data that was set during this creation process and calling a function on the contracts to create that sarcophagus. Let's wait for that to update. Okay, great. It works. It happens pretty quickly on Gorley here. So we've been redirected back to our to this embalming dashboard. This is very much a work in progress. We just kind of slapped this together to have some view of like what is going on. I think that there's probably that transaction has not actually confirmed. We just got a toast message a little early there. Gonna have to look into that. But you can see our sarcophagus has been put on chain here. We got our demo video test. And it's got our ID here. Eventually this will look a lot nicer and be very, very useful. So yeah, that's really what we got right now. We will be doing some unwrapping and we'll add some like resurrection stuff on this page so that resurrection will be working probably within a week. And then we'll be adding some rewrapping and some cool new features will be coming right around the corner. So thanks for bearing with and going through this process. We'll be reaching out to the community to allow people to use this in short order. there are some instructions, and there'll probably be a very automated way of gathering feedback. So that it will be coming very soon. Thank you very much for your time.